Welcome to this episode of Eureka, and we are going to have a really wonderful conversation with Dr. Sivathanu Pillai, Professor Emeritus, ISRO. You would have surely heard about Agni, Nag, Prithvi, various missiles which are defending our country. The earliest launch vehicle of ISRO, SLV3, has a hand of him in its development. Let's take a quick look at his brief profile and we'll continue this conversation. Keep watching Eureka.
Dr. A Sivathanu Pillai is a renowned defense technologist who played a significant role in fructifying the Brahmos supersonic cruise missile project. Presently the Honorary Distinguished Professor at ISRO, he has more than 4 decades of experience working with DRDO and ISRO. Dr. Pillai has worked with many visionary leaders and pioneers of Indian space like Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, Professor Satish Dhawan and Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, who shaped his presence as a technology leader in the field of launch vehicles and missiles. Born on the 15th of July 1947, Dr. Pillai pursued his electrical engineering from the Madras University, after which he completed his management program at Harvard Business School. He later obtained his PhD from Pune University and DSc from Tumkur University. Dr. A.S. Pillai played a key role in introducing innovative management systems and made significant contributions towards the development of Agni, Prithvi, Nag, Trishul and Akash missiles. His remarkable contribution as a core member helped in the successful development of SLV3 and the evolution of PSLV configuration for ISRO. Besides this, he also provided outstanding leadership for Brahmos in its design, development, production and marketing. Dr. Pillai has also authored many books. Noted among them are Revolution in Leadership, Nanoscience and Nanotechnology. He also co-authored Envisioning an Empowered Nation with Dr. Kalam. Dr. Pillai is the recipient of various national and international recognitions, including the Padma Shri in 2002 and the Padma Bhushan in 2013 for his contribution to aerospace and missile technologies.
Thank you, sir, being with us. It's a wonderful opportunity. You have had a very long innings in ISRO, defense research, particularly in the development of missiles. And you are the founder of Brahmos missile program. We'll come to that. But let's start with your beginning. You joined ISRO almost immediately after your PhD, right? What was those days? I mean, how was it? We saw pictures of, rocket being taken in bicycles. I suppose that was the time when you joined ISRO, right? I mean, what was it like then?
See, when I was studying in the 4th year of my engineering at Madurai, there was an exhibition, science exhibition of the Indian Science Congress in 1968, January. So there we are supposed to, as students, show various talents, projects. So I myself and my friend Manishankar, we made very innovative electronic system when processor was not invented. So we made it such a way that it can operate multiple electronic gadgets on a time based. So it was everybody was attracted by that. So the Science Congress, after the main speech, Sasvi Raman, he came and he asked me the questions, how you have done it. Then he spent about 5 minutes and he patted me and he said, very good work you have done. Then he went away. Immediately after him, Dr. Vikram Sarabhai came. So he was during that time the limelight of India. He was the chairman of the Atomic Energy Commission and he was the chief of the PRL, started the space program, and we were hearing number of things about Tumba, where the sounding rockets are launched. So when he came, we were thrilled to see him, and then I explained, but he went on questioning details. He was almost conducting a review of what we have done, and more than 15 minutes he spent with me. And at the end, he put his hand around my shoulder and told, you are a very clever boy, you got a great future. That gave me some electric shock. I was studying electrical engineering to become an electrical engineer in electricity board. That was my aim. But he completely changed me that I should join the space program.
Okay.
So then 69, I completed the program. It was a 5-year course. So I thought that I should apply only to ISRO.
Okay, so you applied only to ISRO?
ISRO. So I applied ISRO and got it with a tough competition. So fortunately, the day I joined, Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, he was there, and I reported to him, saying that because he was the director of SSTC. That time, it was called Space Science and Technology Center, and the Tumba was separate turns. So I joined with him as an SSTC engineer, and with a mandate that I should work on the electrical systems, thrust vector control systems for the rockets. So quickly he found me and gave me a big job to evolve a 10-year profile of the ISRO, which he was evolving. He wanted assistance.
So this developing the vision was one of your job when you joined the ISRO?
I will not say I have developed the vision. We translated the vision of Dr. Vikram Sarabhai into a form where he can make a presentation to the parliament. That was the idea.
But if we go beyond that, I mean, like our launch vehicle SLV3, which successfully put Rohini satellite, and for many years it has been one of the major launch vehicle for ISRO until recently when PSLV took over. You had a very important role to play in its development and shaping up, right? So can you tell us something about what was it that you did?
So when Dr. Sarabhai wanted SLV3 to be developed, he divided into stage-wise and appointed separate project managers. So the project manager for the first stage was Dr. V.R. Gwarikar, with whom I was attached. Then PS2, PS3, PS4 was Abdul Kalam. Like that, many 11 project leaders were there. So after Sarabhai's death, which he wanted SLV3 to be launched in 74, but after his death, everything was consolidated and we had to rework the whole thing. The Professor Satish Dhawan chose Abdul Kalam as the project leader. So he has to form a team. So he called me to work with him. So I became a team member, core team member, to work with Dr. Abdul Kalam. He was not doctor at that time. With him, we worked in the team. So that is a very remarkable change in my life, to enter directly into the overall project, this one. So my portfolio was these rocket motors. There are 4 rocket motors. The 4 rocket motors have to be developed, have to go through a number of tests, the ground tests, and finally it has to be proved before we do for the launch. So we have evolved a plan. That plan was for 7 years. So 73, the program was approved with 15.6 crore. That was the amount for the SLV3. And we have to launch in 79. That was the plan. We very systematically we worked. We introduced all the project management concepts which Sarabhai was telling us into the thing. That is how that today, if I am in PMA, I have got a contribution to make to this country in the project management that has pushed me to the PMA. So the idea is to develop the rocket motors and do that. So we all started working. We were having.
That's a interesting point. I mean, where you in a very young age was put into a project team to prepare a launch vehicle for ISRO. We'll continue this discussion. We'll take a very short break. Don't go away. Keep watching Eureka. He has worked with Kalam. We are going to ask him about his experience with Kalam, maybe some anecdote, maybe some incident. Just after the break, keep watching Eureka. Welcome back to Eureka, and we are having a very wonderful conversation with Professor A Sivathanu Pillai, who is a Professor Emeritus of ISRO. Before the break, we were talking about your experience in managing the production of SLV3 within the time frame that you had actually planned, and then you actually almost achieved it, right?
SLV3 development was for 7 years, and we achieved it. August 10th, 1979, that we launched SLV3. With a lot of effort, we were working round the clock, no nights we spared, but finally when we launched, it was a failure. The SLV3 first launch in 79, the first stage worked well, second stage could not give the required, the course trajectory it could not give due to the failure of the second stage control system. Unfortunately, at that time there was no color TV in India. So when we were watching in the TV monitoring and then trying to give the command, we found that during the launch preparation, there was one thing called a warm-up pulse.
Okay.
Warm-up pulse is given T minus 11 minutes to see that the all the reaction thrusters are energized. So that pulse is given and then it is switched off. But unfortunately, the solenoid valve for one of the RFNA port did not close.
Okay.
And when it is not closing, the RFNA oozes out as a fume, red fumic nitric acid as a fume. So the fume slowly goes down. And since there was no color TV, we were not knowing that it's flowing.
Okay.
It's a red fume. But we were all concentrating on the bottom, the first stage, because it should take off. We were more worried about taking off. So even after qualifying all the stages, more than 56 ground tests we have done, still we had doubt about the propulsion systems, it should function. So our concentration was that. Then the command for the computer started, and it is T minus 6 minutes onwards, the computer takes over, checkout computer takes over the launch. Suddenly it put a brake, hold, it's called hold. Hold came because of the pressure drop in the second stage control system. Immediately Dr. Kalam as mission director asked Dr. Srinivasan, the vehicle director, to have a team discussion and then tell him whether he should proceed or stop the launch. So Dr. Srinivasan said this pressure level is not abnormal. It is sufficient for you can take off. So the launch was done, but unfortunately there was no RFNA left in the second stage. So the second stage control system totally failed. Okay. So it took a new course towards the Bay of Bengal. So that was a problem. So while we were all in shock to see that failure, which we never expected, the Professor Satish Dhawan, a great leader of our organization, he told Dr. Kalam, don't worry about it, this happens normal. You go and discuss with your team to find out what has gone wrong. He addressed the press, Satish Dhawan, without exposing Dr. Kalam.
Okay.
And he took the failure as the chief of the organization for this one. So in 18th July, we launched the second launch of that's called E2, Experimental Launch 02 of SLV3, which went very successfully and put the satellite, Rohini satellite, into orbit. Yeah. So that was his jubilation. Then the Professor Dhawan tells Dr. Kalam, press is waiting for you, go and talk to them.
Okay. So when it's success.
So he's a leader, he gave a big lesson to us. Leader should take the failure to him and give the success credit to the persons who has done the job. So this is a big lesson. You see, Sarabhai visionary and Dhawan is a mission man. He organized the whole ISRO for SLV3, went for the launch. Failure doesn't matter, make it a success, and he gave credit to the people who have done the job and then laid out the plan. Over and above what Dr. Sarabhai has given, he gave another 15-year profile. There also I happened to work with Dhawan, so I had shifted to Bangalore for working out the new vision requirement. This is the thing. Now during this time, our time is a very important thing to prepare the SLV3. So we had to spend days and nights. So the leader was so enthusiastic, Abdul Kalam. So everybody in the team was enthusiastic. So we were all working with him. For example, I was married at that time.
Okay.
So 2 o'clock, night 2 o'clock, our work will be normally around 2 o'clock only we wind up. So he tells that first I will drop you and then I will go. There is a old jeep which was given to the project director, and we go in that, discussing all points in the jeep, no spare time for anyone. So then we go to my place, he drops me, and then he goes to eat. Something is there waiting for him to eat, very cold, something will be there, some dosa or idli at 2 o'clock. So this is the way we have done the project. It is a very close interaction with him, and everywhere he is there and with us.
This is a very, very interesting conversation, a time which actually people like him had built institutions which is yielding results today. We'll have to take a very short break. Don't go away, keep watching Eureka. After the break, we'll discuss about his role in Brahmos, one of the big success stories in Indian science. Keep watching Eureka. Welcome back to Eureka, and we are having a very wonderful and very engaging conversation with Professor A. Sivathanu Pillai, Professor Emeritus of ISRO. You are the founder director of Brahmos. In some sense, I should say that it was also one of the vision of Kalam Saab, right? I mean, to bring a most modern cruise missile to India so that India can be defended on its borders. What was it like? How did this whole idea came about?
See, during our IGMDP, Integrated Guided Missile Development Program, in which I was a part of the program, as the program director, I was made as the program director. Dr. Kalam was the director and the chief. So we had 5 projects, and we identified more than 200 technologies which were refused by the other countries to give to India. So they have introduced the MTCR, Missile Technology Control Regime, and these technologies had to be developed within India. That was my role, to interact with multiple agencies to develop the critical technologies like the re-entry technology for Agni, and then the phased array technology for Akash, then the focal plane array for the NOG. Like that, multiple technologies have to be identified.
So these technologies were refused. I mean, though it was available elsewhere, it was not available to us off the shelf.
Yes, the big countries who have developed missiles, they thought that countries like India need not develop missiles. So that meant there was a control called MTCR, which all of them signed together. So we were refused. That gave us a boon for us. Technology denied is technology gained. So we thought that we will do ourselves.
So you mean to say that without any help from advanced countries, without buying technology or having collaboration, we were able to actually do it?
Yes, we could develop all these technologies indigenously using the Indian minds spread in the institutions, industries and other organizations. So we could do that. Now, once we have reached a stage in 1990 when we have launched Agni, when many other missiles have gone, that was the time the bird has woken up. So many people start writing that these people we put control, but they have developed. That was the time there was a collapse of the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
So we used that opportunity. I was in Harvard Business School studying there. At the time the Gulf War took place. Then I thought that is the Gulf War was won by Tomahawk missile, by launching it first to destroy all the ground air defense system. So then I thought that I spoke to Dr. Kalam from USA, see that this is what has happened. We don't have a cruise missile in our kit. So it is the time we start thinking about cruise missile and also anti-ballistic missile.
Okay.
So I start writing some plans like that, and then I gave it. So then there was a time I was also, after coming back, I was given a responsibility to lead a team for underwater technology with Russia. So our partner showed me first an engine which has got a supersonic capability.
Okay.
So then we thought that why not we use this supersonic engine which they are readily offering to make a supersonic missile.
Okay.
So that was the starting point of this one, the cruise missile development. And then we made a paper to that to the Prime Minister. That time Narasimha Rao was the Prime Minister. So one afternoon, Dr. Kalam and myself, we went to Narasimha Rao and explained to him that this is a great opportunity, not only to take the engine, but also to make a joint program by which we can develop a cruise missile, and that will save a lot of time.
Okay.
So then he said, yes, it's a good idea. Then we had to make one point to him that we don't want to have a regular DRDO project.
Okay.
It should be of a different nature. What he asked was, what is that in your mind? What is the difference? So we told that let DRDO contribute 50.5% and the Russian contribute 49.5%. By doing that, it will become a private company.
Okay.
It is a government funded private company. So then Dr. Kalam said he is the right man to do. So let him be the CEO and MD. Let him operate this fund.
Okay.
So I was given $250 million from India as well as from Russia.
And that is how the Brahmos came up.
Russia did not have the money, so they had to. We were given them the idea that it can come from the loan repayment. Okay. So through RBI, we engaged the money. Money was controlled by CEO, and then I signed contract with Russians to do their projects for us to take their money.
Okay.
That means 50% we have saved the cost of the project. So that's how the whole project started.
Yeah, now coming to, because we are also running out of time, I mean, some important question. I mean, where does, for example, Brahmos stand in the international scenario in comparison to other cruise missiles?
All the world has got cruise missiles, only subsonic. Brahmos is the only supersonic cruise missile. When we thought that we should develop cruise missile, we also wanted to take leadership. The great opportunity came from Russians. We have to thank the Russians who are willing to work with us. And then because of that, we could make a supersonic cruise missile in cooperation with them. And today there is no equivalent to that.
We are kind of world top in that particular.
We are world number one.
World number one. Now
Here, one more thing you should know, that the Russians offered only a sea to sea launch as an anti-ship missile. Because that was the technology they were thinking of. But we worked with them like that, but converted quickly to surface to surface missile. So today our missile is air to ground, land to land, water to land, land to water, underwater. Everything has been done is a concept from the Indian side. So very universal missile we have done with a 3 seconds interval operation. Every missile will take about 3 seconds for different targets. So this type of capability no one has got in the world.
Yeah, now we are running out of the time, but this I think I should ask you, and then our viewers should certainly hear from you, is where do we go from here? What do you think are our major challenges today?
As far as the Brahmos is concerned, once we established supersonic, we also wanted to take lead further. So we launched a hypersonic program, Mach 7, that is 7,000 km/h speed. So we wanted to work with the Russians. I have established a facility in Indian Institute of Science for hypersonics from the Brahmos, which was inaugurated by Dr. Abdul Kalam. And we have now got very good number of people working on hypersonic program. ISRO is also working on hypersonic program. Russians are also working on hypersonic program. So it is now it's time to really take off hypersonic, which is going to be the future as far as the cruise missile is concerned. Other side, if you see the Indian space program, if you look at it, Indian space program has taken up very well. Starting from Sarabhai, starting from Dhawan, and then later with Abdul Kalam, you are seeing that they grow, PSLVs, GSLVs have come. So I have been given the job to structure in the Brahmos model in ISRO to produce PSLVs to 12 to 18 numbers per year. So I am trying to integrate the industries for that. So there also there are opportunities to go further. So not only reusable launch vehicles, not only the hypersonic launch vehicles, we have to think of manned space program.
That's a
Why-
future that we have to.
Yeah, why we need manned space program is there is a very interesting study which has been done that moon has got plenty of helium-3 raw material.
Yeah.
And helium-3 is the future energy material overtaking the uranium. Uranium is radioactive, safety problems are involved. Helium-3 has no safety problem and it is amenable for fusion technology.
Yeah.
So that will produce 100 times more than uranium as the power. So we must have our factory operational on the moon, and we should bring the helium-3 and produce energy to light all our homes in the country.
You have had a very wonderful experience both in ISRO and later in DRDO, ensuring that the projects are completed in time and also successfully. You know, even if there are failures, I mean, you overcome them, you learn from them. And today you are a president of Project Management Association. What do you think this association is for? Why do you think we need to give importance to project management?
ISRO is a very successful organization and they are completing many milestones within the time frame. It all started with Vikram Sarabhai, who thought that project management should be a very important requirement.
Okay.
Today they follow. Now if you look at all the organizations, it is not like that. Dr. Kalam, who came from ISRO to DRDO, instituted that. I came from ISRO and also worked with Dr. Kalam. I could institute the project management in Brahmos. So we are successful because project management is a main requirement for running the projects. It gives all the ways to do that. In the PMA, more than what we have done, they have got a competence-based project management system. Create a system of competence with multiple people so that all projects are successful. India is suffering today because there is a considerable amount is being lost due to time overrun.
Yeah.
In many of the projects, the figure shows alarming.
Yes.
So this should not be the case. So Government of India must take a view of introducing project management excellence if they have to appoint a project director.
Okay.
So this is a requirement for our nation. That is why as President PMA, I am insisting project management has to come in our way of life.
That's a very interesting vision, and with that we need to end this conversation for want of time. Thank you for being with us. Keep watching Eureka. We'll come back with another conversation next week. Keep watching Eureka.